Greetings to all eBiz professionals. My name is Madam Sophia, the virtual assistant to CTM Joseph NG. I am honored to present this week's urgent message to you. Without further ado, here is the urgent message. Alright. Headline: In search of business survival post-Covid-19. Kuala Lumpur. As more sectors are allowed to operate, small and medium enterprises, SMEs, can start breathing a little easier as they can finally open their doors to customers, after having struggled through the past 2 months. However, how ready are SMEs in terms of business continuity? This will be the core of the discussion for the upcoming Star Outstanding Business Awards #SOS, Save Our SMEs Surviving the Cash Flow Crisis and Planning Your Business Continuity webinar, to be hosted by 988 announcer and celebrity entrepreneur Chen Fong in Mandarin. SMEs can tune into the webinar, which will be held on August 27 at 3 p.m., by registering at bit.ly/e_SOBALab2. Businesses will learn best practices and practical applications firsthand from leading SME and ecosystem players including Maxis Business, SME head Kevin Lee, Packet Logistics Group SDN BHD Chief Financial Officer Peng Kong Chek, RHB Bank BHD SME Banking Head Yipao Nang, and Associated Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia, ACCHIM, National Council Member and SMEs Committee, Chairman Kung Lin Lung. When it comes to lessons learned from the past year, Kung will drill down to the heart of the problem for all businesses by pinpointing the key factors affecting business performance, drawing from survey results conducted by ACCHIM during last year's Movement Control Order, alongside more recent survey for the first and second half of 2021. Alarmingly, he shared 46.2% of companies cannot support their cash flow for more than 3 months. Building on that, PKT Logistics Group's Peng will address resolutions in managing cash flow crisis for businesses, using the logistics players' experience over the past year. He will also touch on the key strategies and components to craft a well-rounded business continuity plan that will help minimize disruptions arising from future crises. Prepare your company for diversification and innovative products that are sustainable during recession or crisis, he advised. RHB Bank's Yip will also weigh in on the need for SMEs to look past optimizing working capital and embed continuity into the foundations of their businesses. He added, as a banker specializing in SMEs, I have seen businesses surviving the current crisis intact over the last 18 months and some are even thriving. But to march on, businesses need to focus on more than just optimizing working capital. It is also about repositioning businesses to meet changing stakeholder behavior. Meanwhile, Maxis Business Lee will be speaking on digitalization and technology and how SMEs can leverage the available tools in the market to move their businesses forward. He said, at Maxis, we are inspired by businesses that use technology and digitalization to create meaningful outcomes for their customers. This is aligned with our brand purpose, bringing together the best of technologies to enable people, businesses and the nation to always be ahead in a changing world. For the upcoming SOBA Lab webinar, is excited to be sharing how entrepreneurs can digitalize their business with affordability and flexibility with the right business solutions and how businesses can leverage on the SME Digitalization Grant. SOBA 2021 is organized by Star Media Group BHD with Credit Guarantee Corp Malaysia. BHD, Maxis, Packet Logistics Group and RHB Bank BHD as main sponsors and the Malaysia External Trade Development Corporate as official trade promotion partner. Supported by the International Trade and Industry Ministry and Bursa Malaysia, it is audited by BDO with 988 and Surya as official media partners. For more information on SOBA 2021, call the Star Events at 017-817-8099 or visit www.soba.com.my. By the way, are happy with this message? If you do, then do register to attend the SOBA 2021 webinar. Before leaving you, may I introduce you the next presenter. Okay, she is none than Madam Florence, another virtual assistant to CTM Joseph NG. Thanks.
Thank you, Madam Sophia, for allowing me to complete this week's news bulletin. By the way, in case you don't know me, my name is Madam Florence, another virtual assistant to CTM Joseph NG. Okay, thanks. Chapter 6, the review method, close quote, summarize the product position, benefits and other materials covered in the sales presentation. This is one signal to the prospect that the time has come to make a purchase. It is a good lead on to the action close. By Hyam in his book, The Best Pocket Marketer, allow me to share my personal experience of how I use the review method in closing an in-house seminar with a participant sent to observe my workshop seminar. This attendee was with his spouse during the second day of my workshop. Just as I have finished my workshop in Sabang Jaya, I had a young couple at my workshop who represented the husband's company. At the end of the workshop, the couple walked up to me and he said to me, "I would like to talk to you on some ongoing training seminars for my salespeople." So, as we sat round the conference table, I started talking to him about our special ongoing seminars for new sales personnel. I went through the presentation on the benefits that would be derived from attending my interactive workshop. They asked a lot of questions and they got a lot of answers from me. Everything looked as if the sales might come right to a close. I felt that the time was right, hence I made an attempt to close the sale. The husband was ready to buy. The wife wasn't. I picked up a signal that he was ready to go ahead. But her response was, "Let us think over tonight and I will call upon you tomorrow morning." Well, I said to her, not wanting her to think that I am going to pressure her into making a decision that night, when they just sat through my entire seminar and all. I continued, "That's fine, Mrs. Chang, but just to clarify my thinking, just so that I understand, what is it that there is anything not clear to you? Is it the integrity of CBA training?" She said, "No," and I inquired, "Is it my personal integrity?" She replied again, "No." However, I asked, "Have I done something that causes you to think my integrity is questionable? I would like to talk to you on some ongoing training seminars for my salespeople." So, as we sat round the conference table, I started talking to him about our special ongoing seminars for new sales personnels. I went through the presentation on the benefits that would be derived from attending my interactive workshop. They asked a lot of questions and they got a lot of answers from me. Everything looked as if the sales might come right to a close. I felt that the time was right, hence I made an attempt to close the sale. The husband was ready to buy. The wife wasn't. I picked up a signal that he was ready to go ahead. But her response was, "Let us think over tonight and I will call upon you tomorrow morning." Well, I said to her, not wanting her to think that I am going to pressure her into making a decision that night, when they just sat through my entire seminar and all. I continued, "That's fine, Mrs. Chang, but just to clarify my thinking, just so that I understand, what is it that there is anything not clear to you? Is it the integrity of CBA training?" She said, "No," and I inquired, "Is it my personal integrity?" She replied again, "No." However, I asked, "Have I done something that causes you to think my integrity is questionable?" "No," she insisted. And I ask again, "Is it the time your people is going to spend attending my seminar?" She confirmed, "Oh, no, it is not a problem at all." So, I reviewed the presentation in the interview. "Is it this?" And she said, "No," and I asked, "Is this that?" And she said, "No," as I continued through the interview asking these questions. Finally, she looked at her husband and she said, "Edward, go ahead and tell Joseph to register our sales staff to his workshop, I can't take it anymore." Personally, I don't believe I have ever seen one man so thoroughly enjoyed a sales interview where he was going to pay the bill as this husband had enjoyed this interview which I was having with his wife. As I tried to determine which point was holding back her commitment to buy, the husband finally came to my rescue by saying to her, "Janet, there is no reason to wait until tomorrow, isn't it?" To which she gave her last, "no," at the interview. With this I wrote the order and got both to approve it by writing the names. The sale was made by reviewing the entire interview, one question at a time, getting a "no" answer each time that really meant, "Yes, I am buying." Summary. To recap this chapter, it is good to remember the incident of a young couple at sales trainer workshop who represented the husband's company and what had happened there. One important thing to take note again is the use of the words to the prospect to clarify of the salesman's own thinking. And to understand, what is it that there is anything not clear to the prospect. The sales professional must further clarify his thinking, just so that he understands, what is it that there is anything not clear to the prospect. This is done to hasten the close of the sales as soon as the salesman find out the real objection or objections. Lastly, take note again, that the sale was made actually by reviewing the entire interview. Conclusion: to wrap up the entire chapter, I am thoroughly convinced that out of my personal experience of how I use the review method in closing an in-house seminar, without a shadow of doubt, it was a learning experience with a participant sent to observe my workshop seminar. What really made me think that such a tactic could actually close sales? I must be happy that this attendee was with his spouse during the second day of my workshop. It confirmed that such closing tactic is made better with a decision maker at the seminar. Believe me, you should try this closing method as it has proven workable many times over. With this last few sentence I will close this chapter gracefully. Alright. Thank you. End of chapter 6. PS. In the next chapter on I think over, close is quite similar except that I think over is a hidden objection given by the prospect. On the other hand, the review method is initiated by you. The salesperson has to smoke out the reason or reasons why the prospect is not going ahead. Thanks for your time in watching this video clip.